Good morning, and welcome to Virtual Sunday with us at First Parish in Framingham.
I am not wearing my stole, but I am the Reverend Aaron Stockwell, Senior Minister, and it is my honor and deep joy to serve this congregation.
And I am Rebecca Crawford, Director of Religious Exploration. We are so glad that you are here this morning. Please do say hello in the chat window if you have not done so yet.
Unitarian Universalism is a faith for all souls. It doesn't matter your skin color, your age, where you came from, or who you love, or how you move around in the world.
What matters is that you are here watching this service, a part of this community. It matters that you affirm and promote the worth and dignity of all souls. Wherever you are on your life's journey, dear one, you are welcome in this virtual but very real community.
If this is your first time joining virtual worship with us, I am so glad, and we are so glad that you are here. You can fill out a form to learn more information about our congregation directly below this video, or you can send an email to our membership coordinator and office administrator, Sarah Morrison-Neal, at office@uuframingham.org.
Please reach out if you need anything at all, and reach out if you have strength or skills to offer as well. We are all in this together, and together we will help each other through.
If you are watching this service live, immediately following the service will be our Zoom coffee hour. Everyone is encouraged to attend. It'd be so good to see your faces.
Love has held this congregation together since 1701. It is a love larger than any walls or screens. So, welcome to First Parish in Framingham.
And
our cellist went out partway through.
Okay.
That was great. So then the opening words.
Yep.
We open our worship together with darkness and with light. The light that brings forth hope in the month of December and the darkness of winter. We invite you into your own spaces with laughter and with joy, with sorrow or tears, with the energy of all of our ages of our community gathered virtually here together today. We share with you story and prose, the traditions of First Parish in Framingham. We worship together today to celebrate the season.
From all that dwell below the skies, let songs of hope and faith arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung, through every land, by every tongue.
Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve all life with compassion, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and with our God.
The poet Rilke wrote, "You, darkness, of whom I am born, I love you more than that flame that limits the world to the circle it illuminates and excludes all the rest. But the dark embraces everything, shapes and shadows, creatures and me. People, nations, just as they are. It lets me imagine a great presence stirring beside me. I believe in the night."
Our words for the multi-faith candle lighting come from David Breeden. In this holiday season, may we find the patience to forgive ourselves, to forgive those who do not do as we wish. May we find patience. May we find the wisdom to let be. In this holiday season, may the darkness of winter be dispelled in this festival of lights. And may the darkness of ignorance be dispelled in the strength of compassion, reason, and sharing. In this holiday season, may we find peace inside ourselves. May we be peace for those around us. And may we renew our commitment to bring peace with justice to our community and the world. May we be peace. In this holiday season, throughout the year to come, and always in our lives, may we know we are loved, may we share the love we have, and may we be the love we wish to see. This particular story is one of true friendship amongst families with different religious customs. The story is told from the view of the young girl in the family, Tricia. At our farm in the North Country, our family didn't celebrate the same holidays as most of our neighbors, but we shared in their delight and anticipation of them just the same. It is a cold, wintry December. Babushka and Grandpa are from the old country. Babushka from the Ukraine and Grandpa from Soviet Georgia, way to the south of Russia. They speak Russian with wonderful accents. They keep their homelands in their hearts, even though they would never be permitted to return there. Babushka has been arranging for Hanukkah all night long. making the candles that will go into the menorah. Grandpa has been carving beautiful small toys out of wood. He makes these carvings every year as gifts for his grandchildren. I have been preparing for Hanukkah as well, polishing the menorah and making sure the room is very clean for the festivities. Of course, we're not supposed to be looking at the beautiful carvings, since they are what Grandpa will wrap up and give to us on each night of Hanukkah. He does this every year, but I cannot resist peeking.
A dancing goat and a horse. They are so magical. Look. Oh, I mustn't keep peeking. Grandpa will be wrapping these up for our Hanukkah gifts for each of the 8 nights, but I cannot resist them.
Trisha, come away from there. I need you to run over to the Kremls for some cornmeal. Off you go. Okay.
The Kremls lived half a mile down the road. They were farmers, like us, and at harvest time, Mr. Kreml always helped Grandpa. All the neighbors helped each other that way. Friendship means something, Grandpa always said, especially for those who will till the soil. I was so surprised. All of the Kremls were quite sick. Even Cherry, who was usually full of spunk, seemed quiet and weak. She was crying. While I stayed on the other side of the room, I asked her what the matter could possibly be.
We're never gonna have a Christmas this year. Never. We don't even have a tree up or any decorations. Papa's too sick to get out of bed and get one down, and Grandma and Mama are too sick to get decorations. We're never gonna have Christmas. Never. Unless my dreams come true.
I had to know what her dream was about and how Christmas could come for the Kremls. I asked her to describe her dream straight away.
Close your eyes. You can dream it too. I dreamt that angels came down with a tree and then put decorations on it.
Angels with trees? Cherry, you aren't dreaming. You're hallucinating. You better get some rest.
I ran home and burst into our house with the news about Cherry and her family. My family was very concerned. Grandpa said, when I was in town, Dr. Leach told me that many families around here have come down with scarlet fever. The Everests, the Govlocks, the Tunderwalds, the Joneses. It's an epidemic. We were all worried about our friends, but Babushka was determined that our Festival of Lights would go on as planned. On the afternoon before Hanukkah, she bustled around our kitchen. "Such luck as I will make this year," she exclaimed, while handing us children potatoes to peel. Mama and Babushka prepared chickens and other delicious foods throughout the afternoon. Just as the aroma of the wonderful feast met our nostrils, the sun set, and it was time to light the menorah. My younger siblings gathered around the table. Grandpa recited the blessings and lit the shomas, the candle used to light all of the others. Babushka put the first candle in the menorah and lit it with the shomas, and then Mama told the story, as she did every year, of our people long ago. "Tonight we are celebrating miracles," she said. "The miracle that a very small band of Jewish farmers turned soldiers could defeat a huge Syrian army."
Were they really farmers before they were soldiers?
"Simple farmers, just like us," my mother replied. "They were fighting so that they could worship in their own way. Then there was the miracle of light. One little tiny drop of oil burned in the temple for 8 days.
Such a miracle! Miracles can happen every day.
Our family sang and danced and played a dreidel as part of our Hanukkah celebration that evening. After the singing, Grandpa handed us the first of our beautifully wrapped presents. He looked troubled, though. "You know," he began, "our neighbors are having such a hard time, and this should be a time of gladness for them. If only we could do something to make their holiday special. Babushka replied, "They always bring a tree in their house. Only in America does a tree grow right out of the living room floor." Pashka was eager to help. As she gathered trees in the woods, my family considered the decorations, for Christmas trees were not our custom. With our neighbors all sick, they had no way to make their children happy this year. At first, the problem seemed insurmountable. Then the idea struck me. "What about the carvings?" I asked. There was a pang of disappointment over giving up the beautiful carvings, but the more we thought about it, the more we knew it was the right thing to do. Our neighbors needed cheering, and we were just about the only ones who didn't have the fever. When they returned and brought all the trees inside, Pashka fixed up the trees so that they would stand up. Our living room looked like a little forest, just like the woods outside of Kiev when I was a little girl, Babushka said lovingly. Pashka exclaimed, "Ah, a dancing goat! We shall call these the trees of the dancing goats." We made sure to hang one on each of the trees. We loaded Grandpa's old Ford and Pashka's truck with the trees and the food baskets and sent Babushka, Grandpa, Richard, and Pashka into the early light of dawn with their Christmas cheer. When they returned later, we were thrilled. Babushka and Grandpa told of how they had entered the home of each neighbor, set up a tree in the living room, put the basket of food on the table, and then put a candle in a holder for them to light later. Mama was a little worried that they had been exposed to the fever, but Babushka said, "In so much worse I have been, you shouldn't know from. God will protect. God will protect. This I know." A week later, the 8 days of Hanukkah had come, and we sat down to have our last feast. There was a knock at the door.
Hello.
It was the Kremls. They looked pale, but assured us that they were quite well now.
Here, I have something for you. It's a gift my dad made out of the same animals you gifted us. It's a menorah. No, it's thanks to you we have Christmas. You and your family are truly angels.
We all sat down and shared our feast. After a lovely evening, we waved goodbye to the Kremls. Our neighbors all recovered from the terrible fever. Few were left with any permanent damage. What they were left with was a long cherished memory of that Christmas when the angels really did come. And my family, too, has never forgotten that incredible winter of the fever, the miracle of true friendship, and the trees of the dancing goats. Our story this morning for the annual pageant, so beautifully acted and illustrated by the children of the Religious Exploration Program, is based on the book The Trees of the Dancing Goats by Patricia Polocco. It's a true story, one that she recalls from her childhood living in Union City, Michigan, on a farm with her Polish grandparents, her older brother, and her mother. The story is that of interfaith community reaching out in the midst of a pandemic. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Still to this day, our community, together with those in the Framingham area, reach out every holiday to provide for those who cannot, to give in ways that they perhaps wish that they could, and we thank you if you were a part of that giving. The story involves children doing exactly what children always have, thinking perhaps a little first of themselves, but then so generously giving their spirit and soul away to others. May you find time in this holiday season to feel that same connection, to feel in some way, shape, or form, whether it be virtually or through this service, or perhaps, if you are so lucky, from distanced in person. A moment, an opportunity to see the holiday season through the eyes of a child. Happy holidays.
in our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we celebrate the joy and wonder of each new birth and adoption. Now let us rejoice in the birth of our new babies and the growth of families by adoption. Emiliano Leon Hansen Duarte La Chapelle, born January 11th. Delilah Catherine Bertucci, March 2020, born into Lauren Falwell's family. Blake Robert Himberg, born April 17th, born into Lauren Falwell's family. Christopher David Rosado Matthew, born June 11th, grandson of Candy Matthew. Paul Edward Strittmatter III, born June 18th, Jan Bolton's grandson. Theodore Sidney Greeley, the first great-grandson of Pat Greeley, born in October. And Luke Becker, born November 11th, born into Lee Kinvey's family of choice. I invite you now to type into the chat the name of a baby or child who joined your life today. We will also light candles.
We light this final candle for all children born to our world in this year. This reading by Sophia Lyons Foz. For the children come, and so they have been coming.
No angels herald their beginnings, and no prophets predict their future courses.
No wise people see a star to show where to find the babe that shall save humankind. Yet each night a child is born is a holy night.
Parents, sitting beside their children's cribs, feel glory in the sight of a new beginning.
They ask, where and how shall this new life end, or will it ever end?
Each night a child is born is a holy night, a time for singing, a time for wondering, a time for worshiping. The words that we'll hear next are by the Unitarian minister A. Powell Davies. Davies served our congregation All Souls Unitarian Church in Washington, D.C., and helped start many other congregations in the D.C. area. He wrote, "When two individuals meet, so too do two private worlds. None of our private worlds are big enough for us to live a wholesome life in. We need the wider world of joy and wonder, of purpose and venture, of toil and tears. What are we? Any of us but strangers and sojourners, forlornly wandering through the nighttime, until we draw together and find the meaning of our lives in one another, dissolving our fears in each other's courage, making music together, and lighting torches to guide us through the dark. We belong together. Love is what we need to love and be loved. Let our hearts be open and hope that we would receive. For what is given still remains to bless the giver when the gift is love." Now is the time in our service that we set aside for the sharing of the things which weigh deepest on our hearts, because we know that sorrow shared is a burden lifted, and that joy shared can be joy expanded. There'll be prompts on the screen that give a little bit more order to our sharing. And do remember that in this public space, privacy cannot be guaranteed. So if there's something a little bit too tender that you think we need to know about still, do write me an email.
There is a love holding me love holding all. We rest in this love. We rest in this love. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. We rest in this love.
Hi, it is nice to be here and imagine you all sitting in the pews. Most of you know me. 14 years ago, I started working with Asociación Bendecir Dios en Alotenango, Guatemala. It is a secular community school project that provides an education to over 500 students who otherwise would not be able to attend school due to the prohibitive costs of school registration, materials, and the uniforms. This project works with the 385 families to also decrease food insecurity and improve housing. Several church members over the years have visited the school and volunteered there. My work now is under the nonprofit Under the Same Moon, and we provide 1/3 of the school's annual budget. This year, we have increased our support to provide food staples to families during the pandemic. In addition to this work, our church supports the school's initiative to provide energy-efficient stoves to the families. Many of the families live in one-room homes with laminated metal walls, most of them with dirt floors. They traditionally cook on what are called 3 stone fires, which are basically a small open campfire in their home or in a shelter abutting their home. This is dangerous for many reasons. The main cause of death for children up to 5 years of age is from respiratory illness, from breathing in the smoke that is not ventilated. The fires require a lot of wood, which adds to the deforestation in the country and the labor of finding the wood or the cost of purchasing it. There also is the danger of children falling into the fires. American doctors working on the ground in Guatemala many years ago saw that many children were coming for treatment for burns. The organizer of the medical missions was a mechanical engineer and invented the O'Neill stove, which resolved the problems of the traditional cooking method. The stove is off the ground, thus preventing accidents, is ventilated to the outside, and uses 70% less wood. First Parish has donated over 100 stoves over the last several years. The cost of the stove is now about $150. Under the same moon, and Asociación Bendición de Dios say thank you in advance. Mil gracias.
Maya Angelou. We jubilate the precious advent of trust. We shout with glorious tongues at the coming of hope. All the earth's tribes loosen their voices to celebrate the promise of peace. We, angels and mortals, believers and non-believers, look heavenward and speak the word aloud. Peace. We look to our world and speak the word aloud. Peace. We look to each other, then into ourselves, and we say without shyness or apology or hesitation, peace, my soul, peace, my soul, peace, my soul.
I now invite you to extinguish the candles that you have lit in your own separate homes. If you're comfortable, let the smoke bless you and linger in the air for just a little bit longer. And then type into the chat box, I carry the flame, or we carry the flame.